Good morning, everyone. Today is Saturday, October 26th, and today we will cover the trades for YieldMax funds, Tesley, Cony, NVDY, Misty, and AMZY. So as far as yesterday is concerned, Tesley had a trade, NVDY had a trade, and Misty had a trade. Cony and AMZY did not need to make a trade. They had closed out, their weeklies, already, so they didn't have to do anything yesterday. So first we'll start with Tesley. Tesley had 4 different transactions. So what I always say is just first look at the BCs if you're trying to read this yourself. BC buy to close, that's what it stands for. And if you look at the top, the second transaction down, they're closing a put. All right. So this typically means obviously they're closing part of their synthetic position, 1,100 contracts. The top part, they're selling a call. So if you look at the strike price, 255, BC buy to close the put, sell the call. They're closing out 1,100 contracts from their synthetic. That means people are selling out of the fund. So they had to close out 1,100 contracts on the synthetic, which means in turn, they also have to close out 1,100 contracts on the weekly. So they did that. They did a BC buy to close on a 262.50. They paid a lot of money, 1007, and they sold, their other side of it. I want to say their better half, but not their better half. But the call credit spread piece, 282.50, they got 287 for that. So let's take a look at the numbers. All right, so as always, Tesley has this 245 synthetic lingering. Only 1,315 contracts there. This expires November 15th. Coming up soon now, 21 days. All right, the 255, this is where they sold out of. They closed out 1,100 contracts. They're 5% above, so it's in a profitable position. So for them to close out some contracts here, they can make money, and they did. They made $2.4 million on the call, and they paid $1.1 to close the put. So in the end, they made about $1.3 million. Right? So that's pretty good. But again, it's a forced closure. So it's not like, yay, that gets added into now what we call payment 1, right? It's payment 1 because it's fiscal year payment 1. I know it's getting annoying, confusing maybe, but that's just how it is. All right. And then we can take a look at the weeklies and see what they did there. But first, how did Tesla do yesterday? They went up 3.36%. I got to be honest, I was super surprised. After a day like the day before, it went up like 21%. It still went up the following day. So that was really impressive. Tesley, obviously, of course, went up too, 2.19%. Decent amount, not that bad. Now, let's take a look at what they had to close yesterday. All right, so here's the 1,100 contracts. Again, they had to close the 262.50. How much is Tesla? 269. So obviously, they lost. They lost that one. They had to pay 1007. Because keep in mind, Tesla was not only priced above that, this expiration date, 11/1. So the time value in that was a lot, freaking weak. So if you look at the call credit spread, they made money on that because the time value really, because Tesla's at 269. The call that they bought was 282.50. So they didn't really make money for the reason of it being over that price. They made money because of the time value. All right. So in the end, what was a win? What was a loss? The sold call, obviously, that they were forced to close. They lost 772,000 net, all said and done. But at least they had an offset, gain of 234,000. So we'll call that a win. All right. Now, heading into next week, what are we doing, right? What do we got? Let's see. So they got 262.50s everywhere, everywhere. Everything's a freaking 262.50. So 262.50 for next week. The number of contracts, obviously, it's 31,753, the 575, the 860, and the 1315. But the 262.50 is in the money, So if Tesla kind of settles down, goes down a little bit, it'll work out in their favor. But right now, it's not looking pretty. They're in the dead zone. So they're 2.49% in the money. Again, we got a full week, so let's not harp on this too much. The buy call is 4.94% away from helping. So we'll see how that plays out into the following week. Bear with me, guys. I'm in a car. As mentioned, I'm kind of away this week. And baby got up at 2 a.m. I don't even know if this, we'll see if this gets done in time. All right. Outstanding shares. Here's the decrease. Remember we said people sold out, so they had to close the shares. Well, here it is, 1.8 million. I mean, what the hell? I feel like so many people bought in recently, right? 2 million, and then they jumped out. Like, that's crazy. So 1,875,000 outstanding shares gone. It's gone. All right. Here's the recap. 30-day IV, 57%. Outstanding shares, 68,275,000. Net income is not net income. It's a loss of 9.3 million on the weeklies. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is, right? Reaction, yeah, it's time. Save me. Why? Look at declaration date. It's in 4 freaking days. 4 days. You're not going to do the synthetic bailout? I don't know. Let's see how much money they made. Well, they do have 15 million in synthetic income. That's not bad. But they have a $9 million loss. Does that look right? 9 million. Let me look at the top. Yeah, that's right. Okay. The 9 million. So net income is 5.8 million. That's a net income per share of 9 cents. Okay. But if you look at the weeklies, obviously it's, they're not making money. So we can't use the Rotometer, unfortunately. But again, looking at how much income they made per share, the payment, we have to simply just base the payment on the IV. And with an IV of 58%, we can expect a 63-cent payment. Group A, since it declares next week, I should make an estimate video, hopefully by tomorrow morning. Again, if all goes smooth today in this chaotic house that I'm in right now. But yeah, I hope to get that to you guys tomorrow morning. Outstanding holdings for Tesley. They got synthetics expiring 11/15. They're in a good spot for that. We'll see how the weeklies go. They're not in a good spot for that. But the total net assets of Tesley is 893 million. The NAV is 1308 and the trade price is 1307. Okay, moving on to the next trade. Here's a trade for NVDY. What they do here, so they closed out, right? Again, look for the BC buy to close. They did a buy to close the call. So they closed out to 142. They paid 154. And obviously they closed out the other part of it, the bought call. They essentially sold it. That's how they closed out that one. They made 2 cents. That doesn't look like it was of use of anything. And then they opened a new position for next week. Again, another call credit spread. So they sold a call, then bought a call. So they love credit call spreads. Seems to be on every freaking transaction now. Not a fan of that. All right, synthetics, and I'm not even saying I'm not a fan because it's a pain in the ass to track. I don't think it's necessary all the time. When there's nothing going on in that particular week, there's no earnings, there's no big announcements, there's no Fed announcements. Like what are we doing? All right, so they're synthetic. They have a synthetic 130. They're doing well with that. They're 8.88% above that. 56 days till that expires, so they got some time to play around. All right, so how did NVIDIA do yesterday, or NVIDY? NVIDY went up 0.8%. NVIDY went up 0.27%. So yeah, another pretty boring day, right? Boring stock lately like NVIDIA. Does it need a credit call spread? Call credit spread? Bear call credit spread? Does it need it? I don't think so. Do you? I don't know, man. All right. It's getting cold in this damn car. Should have might have to take a break and put my sweatshirt on. All right. So what do we got here? We got the 142. This is interesting, guys. Interesting. They sold a call at 142. It expired yesterday. They paid 154 to close that. 154 is greater than the 132 credit that they got to sell that call, right? Now, the odd part is NVIDIA closed at 141. Okay. It closed at 141.54, which is under the strike price of the call, right? So you would think we won, but no, they closed it out, I guess, when it was above 142 or when it was earlier in the day. So I decided to pull up a chart here. So here's NVIDIA chart yesterday. You could see it kind of, if we go here, it was above, it closed right below. But right before that, it was kind of above it. And then before that, it was below it. And then it was above it, below it, above it, below it. And then most of the day, it was above it. So I have to say, most of the day, it was above the 142. So it wasn't really until the end of the day, I guess. So, and you can't really time it. Who would have thought it dropped right below the damn strike price? So I guess we'll cut him a break. What do you think? But it's still annoying. It really is. And then the call credit spread, again, useless. Again, we made 2 cents per share on that. But, it's not needed. It's not freaking needed. So it's not needed all the time. So anyway, it's a loss on that. So pretty much useless plays right there. You're better off just using the synthetic and leaving it alone. But anyway, here's the new play for next week. All right, so they're all eggs in one basket. 90,640 contracts. I feel like now that they have the call credit spread, it's always one strike price. They never scatter. So I don't know. All right, anyway, 90,640 contracts, 147 strike price. This is 3.86% out of the money. And then here we are, call credit spread, of course, 155 strike price, 9% away from helping, 9.5%. So again, it's like a 6% gap right there. That's a big gap. I mean, NVIDIA, they don't have earnings, right? When's their earnings? 11/26. So they don't have anything going on. So why not just sell a call without the freaking call credit spread, like 6% out of the money? And then you could yield what you need to yield. Why are we doing the call credit spread? We really think NVIDIA's, maybe something, I don't know. There could be something next week. I don't look ahead, but sometimes, I don't think they should always do a call credit spread. I know I just said that, but, it's just annoying. All right, outstanding shares, no movement. And again, how I'm tracking all of these, the weeklies is now the only tab. There's no monthly tab, so I have all 13 payments now scattered into columns, which, I'm not going to lie, this is becoming a massive pain in the ass, but hopefully I didn't make any mistakes. Here's the recap, though. 30-day IV, 60%. Outstanding shares, 47,875,000. Total net income, 5.4 mil. We have income, at least, barely. Distribution comes to about 11 cents. Daily income, 1 penny. Daily yield, 0.03%. Annualize that sucker, 10%. So not much there. Thumbs down on the timing of the closure. I'm sorry. I know that was not easy. You had to do what you had to do, but you still get a thumbs down. What else? Group B declares not next week, but the week after on 11/6. And let's talk about payment information. Well, they do have that big synthetic income they made, 92.6 mil. And since they have income on the weeklies, that adds to it. So net income is 98 mil. So we're still looking at a big distribution. And it's no thanks to the weeklies. It's thanks to the underlying going up. So keep that in mind. 205 on that. 205 income per share. 2 wins, 4 losses. So not the best record here. If we go to the Rotometer, again, we can't really focus on that for the weeklies because it's looking like 20 cents, 10% yield. Yeah, nobody wants that. But if we look at the IV, 61% IV would pay $1.32. Obviously, that's good, but we want to focus on the 205. I think it's going to be a decent payment, like I said, for this month. All right, so what do we got? Holding information. No gold digger, just a broke girl. She's worth 60 mil. Our synthetic is massive, $174 million. Our buy call is, the call we purchased. The orange is very, very valuable. But it expires on December 20th. We shouldn't have to touch it if we don't have to. I don't think we don't have to, honestly. We don't have to touch this one, but we'll see how this plays out. Again, here's the synthetic bailout money. You know, the net of the call and the put is 114 mil. The weeklies, will let them play out. Total net assets or assets under management or whatever you want to call it, 1.2 mil. The NAV is 26.23. Trade price 26.23 on the money. All right, so that's NVDY or NVD. Lastly, MSTY. Decent amount of trades here. I did some trying to do the trades yesterday, and during the chaos I was trying to do check marks too. This is my sloppy check marks as I go through them, because again, their trades are now, they're like out of order. They used to be so clean and neat. Now, since the call credit spreads, it's just like they're not making it easy. Maybe they don't want me to cover it, or maybe they don't want you to cover it either. All right, so what the hell's going on here? Too much, right? Too much. BCs, right? BC, buy to close, call. Okay, buy to close, call. So obviously they're closing out calls, right? And you see the price next to the BC all the way to the right. That's the execution price per share. It's not good. 1090 and 2255. Yeah, that's not good, all right? And then obviously there's going to be another side of that. There's probably a synthetic, right? So the 230, 1025, 15,895, they sold 270 right at the top, right? Again, out of order. They made 2 cents on that. Wow, that was a big helper right there. But at least the other one, they sold 16,745 contracts. They made $1.99. That's the other check mark. So I don't know. Let's take a look at the spreadsheet. All right, here's MSTY. Here's their synthetic. Let's see if they touched it. They did not. So the last time they added to the synthetic was 1022. And what's this synthetic worth? Well, again, it's one synthetic, 33,630 contracts. And it's over. It's 20% above. I mean, looking at another big payment, guys. They're 20% above their synthetic strike. So this expires in 21 days. They're going to have to close it soon. They did not close it yesterday. MSTR has been doing very well. How did they do yesterday, though? They went down 0.66%. MSTY went down more, 1.5%. Well, that means they lost on their trades. Let's take a look. Try to squeeze this in one picture. Yeah, a lot going on here, guys. So bear with me. Let's start at the top. The 220. I'm pretty sure none of this was done the day prior. I didn't gray anything out, but so if any of this is repetitive from the video prior, I apologize. So they closed out the 220 and they paid $22.55 for that. That was a lot of money. But they made $1.99 on the call credit spread, so it offset the damage on that. So actually it worked out in their favor. But in the end, they lost $27 million on the call, and they gained 301,000 on the call credit spread, or the buy call, or whatever the hell you want to call it. And then they have the 230s. All these 230s, I highlighted them yellow because they closed them all together. They paid $10.90 for those. So that was a loss. Call credit spread didn't help. They made 2 cents on that. So in the end, it was 6 losses. They lost a lot of money. Everything should be red there, really. But they lost, you know, what, 7, 8, 9, about $9 million on that, which sucks, right? Because it eats into the income that we're gaining on the synthetic. So they got to come up with a better plan. All right, so new trades for next week. The 990, that was actually there. So let's just focus on what they did yesterday. 15,895 contracts, 255 strike price, 8.8% out of the money. They did a, call credit spread. They bought a call, 290, 23% away. That's a big leap right there. 16,745 contracts, 260 strike price, 10% out of the money. Call credit spread, of course, 295, 25% away. When's their earnings? 1030, supposedly, that's what I have. Okay, so This is across earnings. MSTR, though, I don't feel like their earnings really does much. They typically react more to Bitcoin than their own earnings, but maybe they'll have really good stuff, or maybe they'll just have terrible earnings. Who the hell knows? And who knows if the stock will move drastically, right? Like Tesla, after their earnings, they move drastically one way or the other. MSTR, I don't know. It's probably not the same feeling because people just, they like that their balance sheet is filled with Bitcoin more than what their earnings per share is. But anyway, let's we'll see how it plays out. What do I think about this move over earnings? I still think, that's a big gap. 15% gap on both. 15% in the middle, like a dead zone of 15%. Is that too much? A little bit. Outstanding shares, nothing. Okay, nothing. All right, we'll take it. So here's the recap. MSTR continues to have a 30-day IV above 100%, 101%. Good job. Outstanding shares, 28 mil. Net income is a loss, unfortunately. So they're down 35.6 mil. They lost a lot of money. What can you say, right? They lost. So, and, everyone's happy, thinks Misty's like God. And it is. It's great. But it's only thanks to MSTR. I'm saying wake up call because I want them to start like making money on their options plays. When they make money on the synthetic, it's not because of themselves. Let's be realistic. It's because of the underlying. I want them to make money on the freaking weeklies. All right. So make it work. Do smart plays. Let's do this. All right. Let's be profitable on this Bitcoin bull run. All right. Obviously, when Bitcoin comes down, we're going to go down with it. And then, we'll always do better than the underlying there. But at the same time, when the underlying stays flat or goes up, let's make good money. All right. That's all I'm going to say. All right. Again, it's a new month, payment one. What are we starting off? We're starting off with a $35 million loss. Obviously, that sucks. So, yeah, not going to use the Rodometer. Obviously, that's pretty damaging. But if you just look at the IV, 102% IV would pay a $2.35 distribution. But they just paid their $4. Everyone's in love with Misty. I don't want to ruin that for you guys, being the Debbie Downer here. All right, so synthetic, what do we got? The orange is greater than the pink. So no gold digger here. Just a rich boy and his cheap girl, cheap date. All right, so what else we got? We got calls heading into next week, call credit spreads, all that jazz. We'll see how that plays out. And the total net assets, 774 mil. The NAV is 2764. Trade price, 2762. So, is it a discount? I don't think so. I don't know, man. MSTR is just, you can't predict it. Someone commented, should I sell MSTY over earnings? I wouldn't. I don't play that game. I played it once with Cony and I got destroyed. I'm like, I'm going to sell Cony for a profit right before earnings. And then, of course, after earnings, it went up like 10%. I'm like, okay, that was dumb. So I don't do that. I don't try to time earnings. I don't try to predict earnings. I don't try to predict the stock market. I try to put myself in a position where it doesn't matter if it goes up or down, and that's the kind of the way I'm doing it. But anyway, that's all the trades for yesterday. So now we'll cover Cony and AMZY. They did not have trades. How did AMZY do yesterday? Well, Amazon went up 0.77%. AMZY went up 0.48%. Earnings is Halloween next week. So that's going to be interesting. Let's see how they're playing this out for earnings. They have a synthetic. Their synthetic is 185. They're currently just above that by 1.5%. Their call, again, all eggs in one basket. They have a 195 call. It's 3.82% out of the money. Their credit call spread 10% away from helping. So a 7% gap. So that's, the dead zone. We don't want to fall in there. How's their earnings going to do? I have no freaking idea. But is this set up for earnings? Again, I don't know, man. This is 3% on earnings. But again, what's the better play? Just doing the call, 6% out of the money? Probably not. Again, call credit spread over earnings. I love it. Call credit spread over big news coming up. I love it. Call credit spread every single damn time. I don't love it. All right, so we'll see how that goes. Total net assets, 180 mil. The NAV is 1876. Trade price 1877. We don't need to talk about the synthetic bailout. Not needed at the moment. 30-day IV, 39%. IV estimate, 57 cents. Group D. And, their next deck date is 11/20, 25 days away. Why? Because they just paid. All right, so how did Coin do yesterday? They went down. They went down 2.01%. Cony went down 1.39%. All right, their earnings is coming up on November 7th. So that's the Thursday? Yeah, I guess that's the Thursday before the next Friday. Okay, how's their synthetic? Their synthetic is fine. They have a 190 synthetic. Coin is at 205. So that's sitting pretty. They're, 7% above that. So their calls for next week, we'll see how these go. But they're slightly scattered, 4% out of the money, 7% out of the money, and 9% out of the money. A 215, a 220, and a 225. Their call credit spreads are so far away from helping. But again, with Coin, I guess, who knows? I don't know. That's still a pretty big gap. We'll see how this goes, though. Obviously, they have their synthetic bailout if needed. Total net assets, 704 mil. The NAV is 1370. Trade price, a penny under, 1369. 30-day IV sits at 86%. IV estimate, 91 cents. Group C will declare on November 13th in 18 days. All right, guys. So that is the update on all of the funds. I feel like we went decently quick. Not like yesterday's video was 50 minutes. I didn't even know that until I finished. I know that's crazy, but so sorry about that. But today's video, yeah, I think it went pretty quick. Maybe it's because I'm freezing and I have nothing on my feet in the car. But as always, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you were entertained. If not, we will try again on the Monday recap. If you enjoy this content, please hit the like button. And if you have any questions or concerns, let me know what you guys think of the call credit spreads, to be honest. I want to hear your point of view. When do you think they should do them? Do you think they should do them all the time? Are you happy with them doing them all the time? Or do you think they should really focus on doing that over earnings or when there's, big news events? Yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Also, for this weekend, I have, again, every weekend I'm busy with videos, but obviously I'll do my options video. Hopefully this afternoon I'll have the the Defiance versus Roundhill versus YieldMax YMAG video, and then tomorrow morning the Group A is up again, so Group A estimates for that morning, and that'll be it. So 3 more videos I got to get done. So bear with me as I try to record them during this little chaotic getaway. But yeah. That's all I got for today. I think that's enough. Let me get this uploaded and out to you hopefully by 6:30 a.m. And yeah, that's all I got. So again, I just want to say thank you guys for watching. And yeah, I'm sorry. I know people miss Roddy. Obviously, I'm in a car, so Roddy's definitely not here. So Roddy the Cricket, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know where he went. I don't want to think bad, but who knows? Hopefully he's safe. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon.